Welcome to the Transformation Zone podcast, hosted by Dossou, founder of Salesforce Catalyst. Prepare for a journey into personal growth and business evolution. Discover inspiring stories and strategies to break free from fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem.
Hi there, welcome ladies and gentlemen to another talk again. Is your boy Steven Dossou all the way from Togo, Togo. When I say all the way from Togo, Togo, people ask me, hey, are you based in Togo? Do you record from Togo? I'm like, no, I'm not based in Togo. I just need to say that all the time. Why? Because it reminds me of the journey, the road I've walked thus far. It reminds me of where I come from, those dusty roads. It reminds me that I used to walk to school 10, 15 miles every day. It reminds me that I used to sleep on the floor, sharing space with mice and cockroaches. It's important that we don't forget where we come from, nor should we forget where we are going. At least one of the two, right? If you don't know where you come from, know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, know where you come from. Get some roots, So that's why I say that, all the time. That's part of my signature line. Is your boy Steven Dossou all the way from Togo, Togo. Well, we are at it again today. And I want to speak to you, as always, about a burning topic that is literally eating a lot of people from deep within, and it's causing people to embrace fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem, the three toughest demons of mankind. And that topic today, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, is insecurities. Now, let's settle this right now. Let me drop this fact on you. We are all insecure about something. Yeah, and I mean everybody. That includes the president of the United States, that includes the president of Togo, that includes your uncle or your mom. We are all insecure about something. Whether it's the prettiest woman on earth or the sexiest, whole muscular 15 packs guy, there is something that we are all insecure about. And such is the mystery of life. But it just so happens that our degrees of insecurities are different. It so happens that some people are more comfortable than others when it comes to living with their insecurities. And those who haven't mastered the art of living with their insecurities, or at least get to a certain level of acceptance with their insecurities, end up dealing with anxiety, stress, depression, all kind of mental health issues that go with insecurities. And need I not say that sometimes some people even become murderers. Yeah, you should check out this documentary, or at least read the book, In the Life or the Mind of Serial Killers. Some of them is just purely out of insecurities, So, as you may have guessed it, the aim of my podcast today is to tap into a more profound understanding of insecurities. What type of insecurities are there? How are they even shaped? How do we get to develop insecurities? And most importantly, how can we learn to live with our insecurity without them holding us back or causing us harm? In other words, we're going to learn how to master and conquer our demons. Let me tell you a story. I knew this Brazilian girl 5 years ago, and I've got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, hands down, she was extremely beautiful. She still is. I mean, look, I've traveled the world. I've lived in more than 20 countries, 4 continents now, and I've seen people, okay? And when I tell you she's beautiful by all men's standard, okay? She was this tall Latina girl, brown skin, blue eyes, curved to perfection, Coca-Cola body. She's got it all. She's the kind of girl that made every single guy turn their head. And I remember there were situations where literally some men and women were ready to give her like half of their worth. I'm talking big money, $300,000, $400,000, just so that she could hang with them. Look, this is mind blowing, okay? Out of this world. She was that beautiful. Hands down. Everyone that you speak to and perhaps ask, this nowadays to talk about rating on a scale of 10. Let me tell you something. Katarina was her name. Katarina was by far an 11 on 10. When it comes to her physical appearance and even her inner beauty, her brain power, her attitude, the way she communicated to people, the way, she was just this beautiful, open heart woman. But here's the thing. Katarina didn't like the way her nose looked. And she always wishes she was less curvy. So after all the compliments, all the accolades of the 15 men per day that will try to get her number, Katarina will ask me, because we were quite close, she will ask me to take a look at her carefully just to ensure that she was looking good enough for that day. And she always make comments about her nose and how she didn't like her nose, and Now, while Katarina, by all acceptance of man, and I say man, capital M-A-M-E-N, by all acceptance of man, men and women, was this beauty queen, she was insecure about specific aspect when it comes to her looks. So why am I telling the story of Katarina? It's because to simply emphasize the point that we are all insecure about something, and that despite of the outward appearance. So that then leads me to the point, what is insecurity? How can we define it? The Merriam-Webster dictionary refers to insecurity as the feeling of uncertainty, self-doubt, or lack of confidence in oneself or one's abilities. I take it one notch further and say that insecurity is the feeling of uncertainty, self-doubt, or lack of confidence in sometimes a particular aspect of our body or in a particular area of our competence. And that can lead to anxiety, fear, a constant need for validation from others. You heard me well, that insecurities can cause people needing or wanting to be validated by other people. So if you know someone, or perhaps you yourself, you identify yourself as a people pleaser, so you want to do things for people so that they can compliment you back, and that's how you feel validated, that can be caused by insecurity. And there are several types of insecurities, ladies and gentlemen, that people experience. And I have boiled them down to 7 types. Let me share them with you. First one, physical insecurities. These relate to concerns about one's physical appearance, such as body, image, weight, height, or specific features. So if we take Katerina, for instance, she had physical insecurities. Then the second one is social insecurities. These involve worries about social interactions, fitting in, being accepted, or fear of rejection or judgment from others. And this is usually felt a lot by adolescents, peer pressure, right? How do I fit in at school? Do I look cool enough? Am I dressing well enough? And then the third one is emotional insecurities. These pertain to feelings of inadequacy, self doubt, or fear of expressing emotions openly. If I tell her that I love her, is she not gonna abuse me? If I tell him that I love him, if I show too much of myself, is he not gonna take advantage of me? Emotional insecurities. And then there's the fourth one, financial insecurities. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. These involve concerns about money, sometimes job insecurity, or financial stability, or meeting basic needs. Guys out there, if you hear me, right, that when you don't have enough money, you don't want to take a girl out on a date, right? Because if you don't know how to handle your insecurity, your financial insecurity, it will show and will just turn the whole date sour. Okay? Okay. Then we have number 5, intellectual insecurities. These refer to doubts about one's intelligence, knowledge, or ability to learn and succeed academically or professionally. I knew a very, very beautiful girl that was extremely insecure when it comes to her intellectual. So whenever she published an article, she speaks very well article very smart, but whenever she wrote an article, she would spend days, and I mean literally days, to edit this article just to ensure that when she puts it out there, she comes out as smart. So she's basically insecure that people will think that she's less smart. And the article ends up being so tangled, so complex because of the jargon that she uses just to make it sound smart. And people end up not understanding anything anyhow. And that's one of the things that we had to work on, me and her, is to work on basically untangling all these insecurities, these intellectual insecurities, and writing as she sounds, and so that people can digest and consume the information. That's what it is at the end of the day. And then the 6th one is relationship insecurities. These include fears of abandonment, betrayal, or inadequacy in romantic, familial, or friendship relationships. And then the 7th one, which a lot of people deal with, that is existential insecurities. And these relate to uncertainties about life purpose, meaning, mortality, or the future. So people want to live to fulfill a certain purpose, and when they haven't found it, when they are not in what I call their Ablafo zone, that zone in which you feel that you are one, you are doing your thing. If people are not there, those people that have not found their why, they kind of navigate life with this, what we call the existential insecurity. Now, while there are these insecurities, such as the existential insecurities that are inherent to us, and some we pick up through the journey of life, is our deduction we make and the perpetuation of such story, of such deduction, that gives power to the insecurities over us. Example: when I had left home, my home country, at the age of 18 and eventually landed in South Africa, sleeping in a shack worth $20 that I couldn't even afford, I was attending this church where there was this beautiful girl, and I talk about this in my book, Be Transformed: How to Live Free of Fear, Self-Doubt, and Low Self-Esteem. You can check it out on Amazon. When this girl sang, let me tell you, when she sang, she's this beautiful girl. She was this church. When she sang, literally, I'm telling you, these angels came down, and she was just beautiful too. Bussy was her name, and I said, "Hey, Bussy, look, let's hang out sometime. And I'm telling you, those days I wore the same jean every single day. I washed it overnight, let it dry, came back to the church with it. So Boosie looked at me from head to toe and told me, look, man. Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say she told me, because I wasn't told. That she literally spat on me. She goes like, Pah! Hey, you quere. Now, quere is the, I don't know, the racism word, or the xenophobic word for foreigners in South Africa. It means that you good for nothing. You basically an animal, right? She says, you quere. Pah! I do not hang out with broke guys. Leave me alone, because your brokenness can be contagious. Now, let me tell you something. Those words cut me deep. And from that day onwards, I picked up this belief, okay? I deducted from this situation that no woman will ever date you if you don't have money. So guess what? I will never ever talk to a girl, not even say good morning. I mean, randomly, if I don't have money in my pocket. And when I don't have money, I don't sleep well. Okay, I see Boosie in my nightmares. Yeah. So here's my point. Okay, follow me. What Boosie said was a reality for her, was her truth. Okay, that she doesn't date guys with no money. But I didn't have to deduct from it that it becomes my general truth, therefore wanting to live life by it. Do you understand? So, making the deduction and the general truth that no woman will ever date you if you don't have money, that became my reality. That became my deduction. And that was part of how I then fed this insecurity. So, that is an example, okay, about how we pick up insecurities or in life through various life circumstances. Sometimes, for me, it was that one event, but for a lot of people, it happens through different kind of circumstances. And the story we then tell ourselves from that event then perpetuate our insecurity. So, I want to give you 3 points, okay? 3 calls. We are in the transformation zone, right? And I don't want to let you go without giving anything that you can use to basically fight these insecurities, if you have any, based on the 7s that I have outlined before. Now, I could give you techniques to apply that will bring changes at a later stage, but I always believe in giving things to people that they can apply today, right now. So whether you are dealing with an existential insecurity or one you picked up through life, these points that I'm going to give to you, these 3 points, are going to help you to deal with them so that they don't cause you anxiety, nor stress, or potential depression. Number 1, the human existence, the human life is a flawed one. Socrates had to say that mankind is born perfect, is a society that corrupts him. I would argue that fact, because children lie and steal without ever being taught how to do so. Who taught them to lie? Did you take the candy? No. And he's looking at you with an oily mouth. Right? So the life that we live is inherently flawed, okay? So the first thing we have to do to combat our insecurities is accepting the fact that no matter what we do, no matter what we wish for, the essence of life on earth itself in our human bodies is not perfect, nor fair, and will never be. That is an acceptance we have to come into. Point number 2. If you accept that life has flaws, if you accept that the life that we live is not flawless, then you get to tap into the faith that If you were chosen out of the million sperms that gushed into your mom's ovulation, gushed towards your mom ovule, so they could couple and become you, if you could just fathom the idea that you were that one sperm that could have died along with the millions, then there must be a reason for you living on this earth. And you don't have to know the reason. You may not have to know it, but that reason will happen. It will come to pass no matter what. So what I'm saying to you is that you have a purpose, and you just have to grow into this faith that this purpose will come to pass anyhow. 3. Unearth. Name and shame the essence of those securities using what I call the cost mapping method. At times, the insecurities get so deep in our system that knowing the number one and number two, knowing that life is flawless, knowing that we are this unique creation, does not necessarily help us uncover it and work on it. So we want to detect their source, how they came about. Do you remember the Katerina story that I told you earlier? So one day we got to conversing. I got to speak to her, and I used this technique on her without her knowing. So I asked her, why don't you like your nose? And she says, because it's not sharp enough. And I said, all right, why do you think it's not sharp enough? And she said, it's because when I was growing up, I had a lot of friends of mine that made fun of me, made fun of my nose. I said, all right, why do you think they made fun of your nose? And they said, it's because they watched this cartoon back then that was called Tintin. All right, so we got to question why. So that's why it's called the cost mapping. So why this? Why that? And then you get to ask why until you find the source of this insecurity. So basically what we could do, what we are able to do with Katerina is we just change the story at the origin. We say, look, so at the end of the day, it's not that these friends of yours when you were a kid, it's not that they were making fun of your nose because there's something against you, but it was just because they watched a cartoon Tintin, then they created an assimilation between your nose and the cartoon Tintin. So in other words, it's not your fault. It was just their own inner world that they were trying to push towards you in the outer world, and then you took that in and accepted that as an insecurity, right? So using the cost mapping technique can then help you in uncovering, unearthing, finding the source of this insecurity, and then recreate a narrative that helps you make a new form of deduction, or what I call make an empowering deduction that does not embed itself in a story of insecurity, but instead in a story of serenity, in a story of confidence, in a story of empowerment, in a story of grace. Don't be shy. Reach out to me, reach out to us. Let me know what you think of this podcast. And make sure that you use our link on our website or contact us to get your free 30-minute one-on-one and uncovering your insecurities. With that said, until then, I see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Transformation Zone podcast. If you're ready to propel your business and life to new heights, visit our website at www.salesforce.co. Connect with us for personalized transformation strategies. Until next time, embrace the journey and sail confidently toward your success.